In the ancient, floating world of Eldoria, there were gardens that hung suspended in the sky, their vibrant petals and lush leaves shimmering against the backdrop of an azure firmament. These sky gardens were the heartbeats of the celestial archipelago, each island boasting its own unique blossoms that swayed in harmony with the gentle currents of the wind. Among them, the most revered was the ether blossom, found solely in the legendary last sky garden. The garden was watched over by an old guardian, Alaric, a man whose youth had long been claimed by time, but whose eyes still sparkled with the mysteries of 1,000 stars. Alaric lived alone, his life dedicated to preserving the natural enchantment of the garden to honor a pact made with the sky spirits during the azure eclipse, an event rarer than the blooming of a century flower. One fateful morning, as the dawn crept shyly between the islands, a bounding light cut across the sky, drawing a swift, shivering gasp from the islands themselves. The light streaked into the last sky garden, revealing itself to be a young girl with eyes like twilit moons and hair that cascaded in waves of the darkest night. Her name was Mirabelle, a spirited soul from the earthbound kingdoms, whose coming had been written in the drifts of time. "Master Alaric," she called out, her voice a melody of earnest and wonder. The old man emerged from beneath the ivied archways, leaning slightly on his carved staff, his gaze wary yet curious. "You've traveled far, young star child." Alaric's voice was as the rustle of old leaves. "What seeks ye in the sanctum of the Celestials?" Mirabelle approached him, a scroll in her hand bearing the royal seal of the Earthen Kings. "The last sky garden is dying," she declared, unrolling the scroll to show a depiction of the garden with its lights dimming, its energy ebbing. "And with it, the balance of your world and mine teeters." Alaric nodded solemnly, for he too had seen the signs: the wilt of the cloud vines, the dimming of the garden's aureate glow. The pact was weakening as the realms of earth and sky began to drift apart. "The prophecy speaks of you and the light you bear," Alaric spoke as he led her towards the heart of the garden, where the ether blossom bloomed, a luminescent flower pulsating with the pale light of the morning star. "You must bond with the ether blossom, enter the skyweave, and renew the pact." Mirabelle listened, her heart hammering with the weight of her legacy, as Alaric instructed her on the sacred rite, a merging of spirit and bloom, a fusion of Earth's vigor with the ethereal essence of Eldoria. As the celestial alignment drew near, Mirabelle, fueled by a courage born of desperation and hope, stepped forward. Reaching out, she touched the ether blossom. Light surged, a storm of starfire and earthen might. The bonding had begun. Time fractured as Mirabelle found herself within the skyweave, the cosmic lattice that bound the worlds. Voices of ancient guardians whispered, winds of forgotten eras roared, and within that tempest, she found her strength, speaking the words of renewal that echoed across the void, with a final, brilliant flare that could be sighted from the farthest isles of both realms. The ordeal concluded. Mirabelle returned to her physical form, changed, her eyes now reflecting the swirl of galaxies. Alaric, witnessing the transformation and the rejuvenation of his beloved Skygarden, felt a burden lift from his ancient shoulders. "The sky and earth remain in harmony, thanks to you, Mirabelle of the Earthen Realms." The Skygarden thrived once more, the ether blossom radiant with vigils of light, a beacon across worlds. Mirabelle stayed with Alaric to learn the ways of the garden, a guardian in her own right, watching over the delicate dance of the skies and the earth, waiting until the time would come for the next bonding. And so the last sky garden of Eldoria prevailed, a symbol of unity and balance, a whisper of the bond between the celestial and the terrestrial, forever reaching into the boundless heart of the cosmos.